Welcome.
Shall we play a game?
Oh,
I think I missed him.
yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love to. How about global thermonuclear war?
Well, that escalated. So, hello and welcome. I'm Mike Talks, a test manager in Wellington, and I've done a few conferences around the world and written quite a lot under my pseudonym of Test Sheep New Zealand. So, this video is to help any of you that arrive a little bit late into our session or anyone that needs a little bit of advance warning. The whole session is based on some of my experience of early programming and therefore also my early experience of testing. I got a computer in the early 80s. It was a ZX Spectrum, and one of the first games I learned to program was a number guessing game. And this is one where the computer randomly generates a number, and you have to try and guess it. And because of that, it was also the first game that I actually learned how to test. And it's some of that spirit is what's driving this session. We're going to be testing much the same software and hopefully making some very similar observations. So let's start by introducing you to where you have to go to. So if you open a browser, and that pseudonym of mine is really important because it's test sheep at nz.github.io. And if you go there, you'll find my web page. Now it's this I need you to ignore because we're going to be focused on this bit, the numbers game. And what you need to do is you need to select the number guessing game. Once you're in here, you'll see the instructions. You can see the more detailed instructions here if you really need to come back to them. But most of everything you need is in here. This page will simulate rolling a pair, that's two six-sided dice, adding them together to generate a random number. Obviously, you can't see what that number is, but so you'll have to guess. And you'll be told correct, too high, too low, or not a number. Now, in total, there are 13 builds that to test. And what we'll be doing during the session is I'll be telling you to concentrate on just one session, to just one build or a few builds, and you'll be testing in silence. I'd rather, if you've observed anything, I'd rather you didn't put it onto the channel until basically I say time's up. And what we'll do is we'll do a debrief as a group. And by basically everyone testing in silence, it'll mean that you can get into your own headset. You can try and test the application yourself without getting too much interference or hearing what other people is. Because I want as much as possible you to individually experience what it's like to test this and to observe and to try and communicate it. So just for this, for the benefit of right now, I'm going to choose the demo. So that's my demo version of this game. So once you've selected the build, you can then choose to roll the dice. And you see that little flash graphic comes up, and okay, it's guessed a number, and it wants me to guess a number. So I'll go with seven's usually quite a good guess because it's statistically the most likely, but I'll go for, let's go for 2 actually. Yeah, so a bit, and I'm told that that's too low. So okay, I'll go for 12, and that's too high. So it's somewhere in between. Okay, 7 is also too high. So how about 4? Too low. Oh, by the way, if I enter something ridiculous like that, it'll tell me it's not a number. So 4 was. Let's try 5. Correct. It took me six turns. At that point, I can choose a different game here, or I can just choose to re-roll and play it again. So I can go. Let's put something ridiculous like 200 too high. So if I can't finish this game, I can actually choose to re-roll and play again, or I can too high. I can actually choose to switch to something else and play again. So, a piece of advice that I would give you is to play each game more than once, each build more than once, to keep old-fashioned paper and pen handy so that you can basically record what you've been doing for each build, because you might find it useful to refer back to, particularly when you're trying to work out what's going on. And when you think, okay, I think I know what the special surprise about this build is, there's a link just at the bottom, the GitHub issues register. So what I'd like you to do is to go into there. You'll need to create a GitHub account. If you haven't, it's really quick to do, so don't worry too much about it. And you go, okay, I've got a new issue. And what you will put is you'll put the build number. So that was build demo. I'm just showing this works. And you just basically submit it. And that'll allow me to look through what people have been recorded. And because you've put the build ID at the top, it'll allow me to reconcile what your issue is against which build. I think that's pretty much everything that you'll need to know. Like I say, what I'll do is when you go back, I will say to you, okay, we're going to do build 1, and we're going to do this for 5 minutes, and everyone have a go at it, and then we'll do a debrief. Then I'll say to you, actually, we're going to now you can now test builds 2 to 5, and we'll just do a little bit more on that. And again, we'll go through a little bit of a debrief, talking about what we've observed. At that point, we'll have a little bit of a discussion about the rules that the constraints that we're testing under, and anything that we'd like to change about that. And this is a really important part of the session. So, and at that point, of course, you are during the debriefs and during things like that, you are allowed to start talking. It's just like I say, when I'd rather that you weren't always going, it always rolls 7 or whatever for a build. And then right at the end, after we'll do a few more builds, and at the end we'll kind of summarize everything that we've learned from the session so far. And that's it. Looking forward to doing this in person with you. If you go back to here, you'll find that the number guessing game is there. The instructions are here, and the GitHub issues register link is there. Easy peasy. Let's get on with it.